You ever wonder why some people get rich while you stay broke? Not because they work harder, you work hard. Not because they're smarter, you're smart. It's because they know something you don't, a secret, an ancient secret that's been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Stay with me, because this is the story of a man who lived 3,000 years ago, who had nothing, who struggled like you're struggling right now, and who discovered a law so simple, so obvious, that once you hear it, you'll never see money the same way again. His name was Enlil, and by the end of this story, you'll know the exact system that transformed him from a broke laborer into one of the wealthiest men in the ancient world. 3,000 years ago, in the golden city of Uruk, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, there lived a young man named Enlil. Every morning before sunrise, he walked to the clay pits outside the city walls. He dug clay, shaped it, fired it in kilns. He made bowls, jars, cups. Beautiful work. His hands were skilled, his pottery was strong, and every week, the merchant who sold his work paid him in silver. 10 pieces of silver. Every week, same amount. But Enlil had nothing. He lived in a single room, ate simple food, owned 2 tunics, 1 pair of sandals, and every week, when he received his 10 silver pieces, he'd count them, hold them, feel the weight. Then somehow, by the end of the week, they'd be gone. Food, rent, oil for his lamp, offerings at the temple, a drink with friends, a new rope, repairs to his kiln. The silver disappeared, and Enlil couldn't understand where. He worked as hard as anyone, harder than most, but he was no wealthier than the day he'd started working 5 years ago. One evening, Enlil sat with his friends, other craftsmen, a weaver, a carpenter, a leather worker. They were all the same, working, earning, but never saving. The weaver spoke what they all felt. We work like slaves, but we have nothing to show for it. Meanwhile, the merchants grow fat on our labor. Why them? Why not us? Enlil stared into his empty cup, and something shifted inside him. I refuse to accept this, he said quietly. If wealth can be earned, there must be a way, and if there's a way, I will find it. That night, Enlil made a decision. He would no longer be a man who worked his entire life and died poor. He would become wealthy, not by luck, not by hoping, by learning, but who could teach him? The next day, Enlil did something bold. He went to the wealthiest district of Uruk, where the merchants lived, where the moneylenders kept their gold, and he knocked on the door of a man named Ishtar-Nabu. Ishtar-Nabu was legendary, a grain merchant, a moneylender, owner of warehouses and ships, ruthless in business, feared and respected. When the door opened, a servant looked at Enlil with disdain. "What do you want?" "I want to speak with Ishtar-Nabu." The servant laughed. "The master doesn't speak with potters." But a voice came from inside. "Let him in." Ishtar-Nabu sat in a large room. Scrolls of records covered the walls. A chest of silver sat in the corner. He looked at Enlil. "You're brave or foolish to come here. Which is it?" Enlil swallowed his fear. "I work every day. I earn silver. But I have nothing. You have everything. I want to know why, and I want you to teach me." Ishtar-Nabu studied him, silent, calculating. "Why should I? Because I'll trade you for it. I make the finest pottery in Uruk. I'll make you whatever you need. 50 jars, 100. I'll work without rest. In exchange, teach me how to build wealth." The old merchant smiled, not kindly, but with respect. "Make me 60 storage jars, large ones, perfect quality. Deliver them in 30 days, then we'll talk." Enlil worked like a man possessed. 18-hour days. His hands blistered, his back screamed. But in 28 days, he delivered 60 perfect jars. Ishtar-Nabu inspected each one, nodded. "You keep your word. Rare." He gestured for Enlil to sit. "You want to know the secret to wealth? I'll tell you, because most people won't understand it, even when they hear it." He leaned forward. "Every week, you earn 10 pieces of silver. Tell me, Who do those 10 pieces belong to? Enlil blinked. They're mine. I earned them. Wrong. Ishtar-Nabu's voice was sharp. You give one to your landlord, one to the grain seller, one to the cloth merchant, one to the temple. The rest disappear into 100 small hands. He pointed at Enlil. You work for everyone except yourself. You labor. Others profit. You are a slave who doesn't even realize his chains. Enlil felt anger rise. Then what should I do? You keep a portion for yourself. Before anyone else. Before rent. Before food. Before offerings. You take your share first. How much? 1 piece of silver out of every 10. No less. No matter what. Enlil frowned. But then I'll only have 9. I can barely survive on 10. Ishtar-Nabu smiled. You'll survive on 9 just as well as you survive on 10. Because you'll make it work. But that 1 piece, that's your future. He stood. Walked to the window. Let me show you something. He pulled a small clay pot from a shelf. Inside was a single copper seed. This seed will grow into a great tree. But only if you plant it. Only if you water it. Only if you protect it. He placed the seed in Enlil's hand. Your first saved silver is this seed. Plant it. Every week. Add another. Water the tree with discipline. And in time it will grow so large that you can rest in its shade forever. But what do I do with the silver I save? Enlil asked. You make it work. You lend it to a merchant who needs capital. You buy grain when the harvest is abundant and prices are low, then sell when they rise. You invest in a caravan heading to distant lands. Your silver earns more silver, and that silver earns even more. Ishtar-Nabu sat back down. Here's what you must do. 3 laws, follow them and you will be wealthy. Break them and you will stay poor forever. Law 1, keep 1 piece of every 10 for yourself. Always. Not sometimes. Not when it's convenient. Always. This is your foundation. Without it, nothing else matters. Law 2, make your saved silver multiply. Do not let it sit idle. Silver that sits is dead. Silver that works is alive. But, he raised a finger, only trust it to those who know how to use it. A potter knows clay. A merchant knows trade. Don't ask a potter for trading advice. Don't ask a merchant to make a jar. Law 3, protect what you build. There will be men who promise you great returns. Triple your silver in a month, they'll say. They're liars or fools. Avoid both. A small, steady return is worth more than the dream of quick riches. Ishtar-Nabu stood. Do this for 2 years. Then return to me. We'll see if you've learned. Enlil left that house with his mind on fire. The next week when he received his 10 silver pieces, he did something he'd never done. He took 1 piece, wrapped it in cloth, hid it under a stone in his room. 9 pieces remained, and something strange happened. He didn't starve. He didn't freeze. He managed. He adjusted. He survived on 9 just as he'd survived on 10. But under that stone, wealth began to grow. Week 2, another piece added. Week 3, another. By the end of the first month, 4 pieces of silver sat under the stone, more than he'd ever saved in his life. But then temptation came. A merchant displayed a beautiful cloak in the market. Soft wool, dyed blue. Enlil had never owned anything so fine. It cost exactly 4 pieces of silver. The voice in his head whispered, "You've saved enough. You deserve this. You can start again tomorrow." Enlil's hand reached for the hidden silver. Then he stopped. He remembered Ishtar-Nabu's words. The seed must be planted, not pulled up every time you want something. He left the cloak, walked away. 6 months passed. Enlil had saved 26 pieces of silver. He approached a merchant he knew, an honest man who imported copper from distant mines. "I have 26 pieces of silver. Can you use it?" The merchant nodded. "I'm sending a caravan north. I need capital to buy more copper. I'll pay you back in 4 months with 2 additional pieces as rental for using your silver." Enlil hesitated. What if the caravan was robbed? What if the merchant cheated him? But this man had been trading for 20 years. He knew copper. He knew caravans. Enlil gave him the silver. 4 months later, the merchant returned. 28 pieces of silver. Enlil stared at the 2 extra pieces. He hadn't worked for them. They'd come from his silver working. For the first time, he understood what Ishtar-Nabu meant. A year passed. Enlil kept saving 1 piece of every 10. He kept lending to the copper merchant. The returns added up. But then disaster. A friend came to him, desperate. "Enlil, my brother needs silver. He's starting a business selling pottery in the northern cities. He'll pay you back double in 6 months." Enlil had never met this brother, didn't know him, but his friend was trustworthy. He lent 15 pieces of silver. 6 months later, the brother disappeared. The silver was gone. Enlil was devastated. A year of saving, half of it lost. He went to Ishtar-Nabu, confessed his mistake. The old merchant didn't mock him. Every man must learn. Now you know. Trust silver only to those who know how to handle it. Your friend is honest, but his brother is a fool. Never confuse character with competence. What do I do now? Plant another seed. Start again. You didn't lose the knowledge. You only lost silver. Knowledge is permanent. Silver can be earned again. Enlil started over. More cautious. More disciplined. 2 years after his first visit, Enlil returned to Ishtar-Nabu. Inside, 112 pieces of silver. Ishtar-Nabu opened it, nodded slowly. You've learned. Most men would have quit after losing 15 pieces. But you kept going. That's the mark of wealth. He looked at Enlil directly. I'm old. I have properties. Grain warehouses. Ships. My sons are fools. They'll waste what I give them. But you understand the laws. Work with me. Manage my grain trade. Learn the business. When I die, you'll inherit a share. Enlil's hands trembled. Why me? Because you earned it. Not with words. With discipline. 10 years later, Ishtar-Nabu passed away. Enlil inherited warehouses, ships, and vast wealth. But more valuable than the inheritance was the knowledge he carried. He knew how to save, how to invest, how to protect, how to grow. Enlil became one of the wealthiest men in Uruk. Not by luck, not by inheritance, by following 3 simple laws. When his old friends came to him asking for the secret, he told them this story. Some understood, most didn't. But the ones who did, they became wealthy too. Here's what Enlil learned, and what you need to hear. Lesson 1. You don't own your income until you pay yourself first. Right now, you think your paycheck is yours. It's not. Everyone else gets paid before you. The landlord, the grocery store, the credit card company. You get what's left, which is usually nothing. Flip that. Pay yourself first. 10% minimum. Before bills. Before wants. Before anything. Lesson 2. Saved money that sits is dead money. Saving alone won't make you wealthy. You need your money working, earning, multiplying, but only trust it to people who know what they're doing. Not your cousin with a business idea. Not some guru promising quick returns. People with track records. Lesson 3. Protect what you build like your life depends on it. Because it does. One bad investment can erase years of discipline. Be conservative. Be patient. Slow and steady beats fast and reckless every single time. So here's my challenge to you. Starting with your next paycheck. Whatever it is, take 10%. If you can't do 10, do 5. If you can't do 5, do 2. The amount matters less than the habit. Put it somewhere you can't easily touch. A separate account. Anything. Do this for 90 days. Just 90 days. And watch what happens. You'll notice 2 things. 1. You'll manage fine on 90%. You'll adjust. You'll survive. Just like Enlil did. 2. That pile of money will grow. And with it, something else will grow. A feeling. The feeling that you're finally taking control. That you're finally building something. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. You don't need to earn more to build wealth. You need to keep more of what you earn. Enlil worked the same job, made the same silver. But he changed one thing. He started keeping a piece for himself. And that one change transformed everything. 3,000 years later, the law hasn't changed. It still works. For anyone. Anywhere. So plant your seed. Water it with discipline. Protect it from fools and scammers. And in 5 years, you'll be grateful. In 10 years, you'll be wealthy. Not because I said so, because it's a law. As reliable as gravity. The richest man in Uruk was once a broke potter. But he made a choice. Make yours today.